Good morning, everyone. Today, I'll this video will talk about the error handling. And before I start with this video, thank you so much. Yesterday, I uploaded the video which was regarding the VBA, how to insert the sheets, and I really actually got a very good response from you guys, and I saw that number of clicks were also went. I mean, something like crazy, and I received messages as well. People really liked the video. Thank you so much for that. So with that ambition in my mind, with that focus in my mind, I'm here with another video, and this time so obviously this video is an answer to my this user who actually wrote this email, and he has this problem in this sheet. He has some numbers, some negative numbers and some text entries. So what he wants to do is he actually says that he is looking for a function square root. He wants to find the square root of each and every number which is in this table, but the problem is this, that he has got some text entries as well and some negative entries as well. And as we know that square root is a math function, so you can't really apply it on the test, on a cell which has some string, which has some text entry, right? I can prepare a function for you, but instead of the function, you can even prepare a macro with just one click. You can actually go and find the square root of all the numbers except for the numbers like which is in the text, or maybe alphanumeric and something which is not valid, right? So what you can do is you can take the help of error handling. I hope you know the error handling. You can use these commands. So what we are going to do is we are going to cover this error handling, and with error handling we are going to cover this for loop, for each loop. Wonderful things. You can't really think of the VBA without these subjects. If you don't know for each, if you don't know error handling, I'm sorry to say, but then you really don't know the VBA, right? They are actually the ingredients, the hardcore ingredients, the main ingredients of a VBA, which you are supposed to know, right? So people who do not know, do not have any idea, why don't they have a look at this video, and I'm sure you'll definitely learn something. And people who know a little bit about this error handling and for each, or maybe who are learner, or maybe who are good in VBA, still I would say that this video is going to help you a lot, right? Alright guys, so let me start with this. And so I have this is the module I have inserted, right? Because most of the time you write your own all the codes on the standard module, which we call this module. You don't write basically on this workbook sheet 1, sheet 2, where I mean, you can write, but 90% of the time you write your codes on the modules, right? So writing the codes on sheet 1, sheet 3 and this workbook has its own reasons, which we are not going to discuss in this video, right? So let me write this sub very quickly. Let me just name it maybe something like that, square finding square root. Okay, so that's the subroutine, the procedure which I have prepared, and we'll automate it with the help of the button. But for now, let's build the code. So what I want to do is I thought about it, and I thought, but I didn't prepare the code because I wanted to prepare the code with you guys, right? But I thought about it, that how you can actually go without it. So let me just give you kind of idea. So what we're gonna do is, why don't we give this option before I click the button right here? Okay, so let's first create the button as well. So let me go here, insert shapes, and let me right click and assign macro. We'll give this subroutine the macro name, right? So now this will work, right? So you have this hyperlink, kind of a hyperlink. So if I click here, this macro will start working, as you can see, right? So there is nothing written over there, so that's why it has no effects. But once we'll write it, it will work. So what we want to do is, I thought that why don't a user should have the option, because it is not necessary that I'm not sure whether you'll use this sheet only for your purpose, or you may share this sheet with the rest of your team if you're working somewhere, or maybe with somebody else. So let's give this button, and so that when he clicks on it, it is going to find the square root for each number except for the invalid number. So what we are going to do is we'll tell the user that first select the this entire range, or maybe you can select this range if you want the square root of these numbers, or maybe if you just want the square root of just first two numbers, select that, right? And according to the selected range, square this function, this not the function, but of course I mean the square root function which we are going to build, and the subroutine will work, right? So it is all about selecting the range. If you're gonna select this in this entire range, and if you have 17 elements here, 17 numbers here, whatever the text or whatever this, and you then click on this button, it will find the square root of all the numbers, of all the valid numbers, right? So let me come back to this, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a loop for each, for each cell selected in the range. Please start working. So first you need to start with 100, then 200, then test, then 666, and then -44 and 134, right? So that's the kind of idea which we are going to build here for each cell, for each cell in my range, whatever the range I'm going to select, right? So that's something in the layman English. Now how you can write it in the code is quite similar actually to English, because VBA is a language which is so easy to understand, I must tell you, because it's more of a, like your English language, right? Like the way you speak, like, the syntaxes are more of, your this English generated sentences, and you can really learn it, and you can really make out the sense while reading the codes, right? So first we'll define this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to define this cell value. This is going to be my variable, and I'm going to define it as a range. I'm going to give this a class of a range. So whatever the properties, the methods I have in this class range, every method and class will get into this cell value, right? So thereafter, what I'm going to do is I'm going to declare another variable, and I'm going to name this as again a range, right? I'll tell you why we are declaring this, and I guess we will require one more variable. Maybe not, let's see. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is see, these are all the objects, these are the classes. Whenever you define any variable, as not as something like string or integer, data variables, you don't define them, right? In this case, like for example, if I would have written something like this, right, I really don't have to use any set keyword which I'm going to use here. Now this long is not an object, right? This is a data type, right? But when you deal with the classes, when you deal with the objects like these range, this is going to be a range. This is not a kind of a, you can say that a long, or something like long, something maybe double, single, that's not. This is a range, right? It has its own class. If you go to the object, right, and you can find them in your this object browser. If I click here range, and if I just maximize it, okay, and now I'll just show you that under this range what all properties we have. So let me just scroll down. Okay, so we have this class range, as you can see here. So this is called the member of the this range class. So you have the activate, add, comment. These are the the methods. These are the hand with envelope. These are the properties. So that's something which these range properties holds, and that's what we are actually going to deal with. So you have current region, current array, current names. So this is something which we are going to discuss here, and similarly you have this select option as well, right? So there are a lot of things which you may require in order to work on the ranges, but for now we have just one thing which we are going to do is that is we are going to assign this this range, this RNG as selection. So selection means that since this is a class, this is an object, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to set this range as selection, which means that whenever I select this, it will work accordingly, right? It will not go beyond this range, beyond this selection, right? So now let me start this for each cell value in my range. Right now, guys, remember this RNG is what? This RNG has a class of range, so it has all the properties of the range. If I type something here like this dot, you see whatever the properties I was telling you, I was showing you in that object browser under the range class. Now they are all transferred into this RNG. variable, because we have actually defined this variable under this range class. So you can have all these options here. So anyways, we don't want to use this, but I was just telling you. So now what you need to do is, for each cell value in the range, which means that when you select this range, this cell value will be 100, 200 and test, and the range would be entire this, consists of 6 rows. This will be a part of this. So what we want to do is, we want to say that the selected cell, the very first cell of that range within that, which is going to be my 100, if its value is in numbers, right? So what we're gonna do is, we are going to find the square root of that function. So how will you find that there is a some function exists by the name of the square root, let's say? So what you can do is, you can take the help of the Google, definitely, or maybe like the way you are watching this video, or maybe you are watching somebody some another video, you can do that, right? But otherwise, if you have this object browser which is developed by the Microsoft, so there is no way, better way to basically go into that and check out the things for yourself, right? So let me say that if I have a square root function and I press enter, and I can get this function over here. So SQR is a function which I'm going to use, and it's a part of a mass class, right? Generally, you have all the functions built in this worksheet function class. So people have this habit, of writing the code something like this. What they're going to do is, they're going to write this worksheet function dot, and they try to find this SQR. Now there is a SQRT pi. I don't think so. I don't know what that function means is, but definitely you can search on it, but that's not the motive. So I don't have an square root function. Why? Because it is not available in this worksheet function class, right? So please don't cram the things. Don't learn just for the heck of it, because you want to do it, you want to make a program, and you want to be outshine the people in your this company, or wherever wherever place you are. No, that's not the way, right? You have to be a very judgmental, you have to be very thoughtful and logical person when you build the codes. All right, don't build the codes just for the sake of getting the output, right? Now if you write something here, if you might have seen this function, probably you would have seen, okay, wow, so this function is available now, right? So I can write it. Of course you can write it, but what if I say that under which class this function falls? How will you find that, right? You should know that what my question is. You should know that what I'm trying to ask you to do. So I'm saying that if you don't know this SQR function in falls under which class, how can you find this, right? So there is a way of doing it. You go to this, as I was telling you, when you write this SQR, you see that this SQR is a member of mass class. It is not a member of worksheet function, right? Generally when you write the functions, like I would say that when you click on this worksheet function and you see these round down and search and all blah blah, I mean functions, there are a number of the functions, sum, if all these functions can be used under this class worksheet function dot, and then you can use sum. But if you try to use SQR with the class you want to find, then that is not available in this worksheet function. Instead it is available in math class, right? So that's how you can find the things. And now if you write the function math dot SQR, right? So there you go, you can find this function. Now I don't encourage you to write this math class with this function like this. You can even write this all alone, SQR. I was just telling you that how do you understand, what do you understand by the classes? Every class has its own property, methods, and similarly this class which we have just found, math, this has all these functions and they are the mathematical functions, right? So I'm going to use this SQR, and now SQR would have what value? It would have a value which is this value, cell dot value, right? Because that's something which looping, when my looping will start, it will have this cell value one by one and 100, 200. I'll show you just when we will go in the debugging mode. So you'll write the next here because you want to, for each always comes with the next, and I think we are finished here. What we can do is maybe we can put the watch here. Yeah, let me put the watch here so that we can see the results. All right, so let me just increase the width. All right, so now what we're gonna do is if I select this only 2 cells, or maybe let me select these all cells. Now this is going to be a selection, and this selection will be passed on to this variable which is called the range, right? Because we have declared it under the class of the range. So whatever the method properties range class will have, you can check in the object browser, this RNG variable will hold all those property and methods, right? That's the way you write the program. Now the point which I was trying to make is, since this selection, so this selection will have what value? This selection will have a value from A1 to A6, right? Let's do this debug mode. Let me run F8. All right, now let's see this object value. So object value has 100 value, so that's the first cell. For each cell value in this entire range, selected range RNG, cell value dot value. Okay, now I have written here as a cell underscore value, that's a variable. So dot value is, you know, is a property actually. So you really please don't get confused here, or let me in fact change this. Let me put this CEL, right? CEL, so that you should not be confused with two values, right? So that's how you can do it. Now when I will write this here, you can see that I have the all the values. So this is the envelope, you know, hand with the envelope. This is called the properties, symbol of sign of property. So now this cell value should hold the value of this, again the same. Let me just change this to, let me do this, right? Okay, so let's run the code again, and this time, okay, now cell value. Okay, so cell value does not have any value because of the fact that we haven't inserted a watch. Now this is a new variable for us, so we'll insert the watch here, and I'm gonna delete this, the first one, because this does not hold it. Now this is a 10 value, right? And this you see, I was what I wrote here is initially I think it was 100, right? That's why this cell value is now showing the 100 result. Now it will go to the next. Now this cell has a 200 value. Now the moment this square root function will, you know, execute the value, this will have 14.14. The square root of 200 is 14.14. Now the next thing is, now this is now running again and is giving you the test value. Now this test value, if you run this code, it will say the type mismatch. So this is the error now. That's what this user wants, you know, that he should be able to work through the entire range without getting any errors, right? So what you can do is you can put here the command on error, resume next. What it does is that whenever it finds any error, it avoids that error, it ignores that error, and it immediately goes to the next line, right? So that's why I didn't write this initially, because I wanted to show what kind of errors you can expect. So let us write this code again, run this code again. Okay, you have the 10 now this time, so square root of 10 would be 3.16. Perfect. Now this time again, now you have a new value 14.14. now the square root of this, the moment I run this, it will be 3.76. okay, now this time, now the cell value is test. Now what will happen? Now if I run this again, you see now there is no error, right? Because we have said if you get the error, just resume next, just go to the next line. Okay, don't mind, I know that the errors would be there, but you got to go with the flow, don't stop, right? So now again it will come to the next. Now the next line, the next you know, this function is 666. So 666 will have what value? It has 25.8, and right, and similarly now it is a -444. so -444, it is going to give you the error, so that's why it is going to the next, right? It is not stopping, and after -444 it will go to the next value, which is 134, and this 134 will surely have this value. Now some of you may you know, ask me this question if they are not aware that of this, you know, for each loop, that how come this cell, this address is moving one by one itself? We haven't defined any row, we are not incremented the cell by row, you know, that the first it was here, and then on the second and third, and how it is making sure that it has to go, you know, one by one in this entire row range, you know. So the answer to that question is, when you write this code for each cell, and with this next, you know, this actually, it is it's a, you know, a code which is inbuilt, which is developed by Microsoft in order to deal with you know, such kind of a situations. When you define your ranges, you know, when you give your variables a class called a range, and then, you know, you write this for each word, you know, it itself says that for each means that for every cell, you know, go to next. So action on it, whatever you have written here, right? This is the VBA code which you have written here. Execute all the actions and then go to the next. So till the time you will not be out of this selection, which is this entire selection, you will have to keep rotating this. Go to the next and then again go to the for and then next, and keep on repeating yourself until you really get to the last cell of the selection. That's how the strong this VBA is, right? So now we have this 134 and it is going to be the last cell. Now you'll see that I have got the 11.57, which is the square root of that cell. Now afterwards on the 7th row I don't have anything, and otherwise also I haven't selected the 7th row. It doesn't matter whether I have some value in the 7th row or not, but the point is I haven't selected the 7th row. My range starts with the first row and ends till 6th. So the next line, it will not go back to the for loop because it has checked all the cells. So this is how you can actually develop your code. And now if I just show you, let me just write this, and this time let me write this, okay, and this time, so we have increased the range. Now again, when you run this code, it will work through all the cells, right? But I'm not gonna go in the F8 mode. Other than that, I will click here on this button and you see what will happen. So first you need to select the range. If you're not gonna select the range, see what will happen. It has only given me the result of this 5.74. Why? Because I had selected only one cell, right? So let me change this. Now if I want the result for these cells, selection, click on it, right? You'll get the values for this, right? Now if you want this to be done on entire table, just select this and click here. Now you'll get all the values here, right? So that's it for now. I hope you liked the video, and do write me what else you want to know, and that's my email ID if you're looking for training in the VBA, whether the Access VBA or the Excel VBA. I do provide the trainings, and apart from that I also teach Excel advanced courses, basic, intermediate and advanced level programs. So guys, thank you so much. Do subscribe to my video, and please support this channel by watching this video only on the YouTube, and share your feedbacks in case if you like the video, in case if you feel that something was missing. I would love to have your feedback. So thank you so much and have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you. Bye bye.